if you read the stuff behind my desk, you all have a quiz tomorrow. That quiz will be over the distributive property and combining like terms. All right, so that's tomorrow. Quizzes are worth like 40% of your grade, or 30%. So you need to make sure that you practice tonight your distributing and combining like terms. All right, so today is about simplifying expressions with properties. So these properties are something that every year from here on out, your math class will start with typically. So like next year in pre-algebra, you'll go over properties. Algebra 1, you'll go over properties. Algebra 2, you'll go over properties. So these are things that we need to be familiar with. All right, so there are a few different properties that we need to know, okay? The first one is the associative property. So these two kind of go together. Okay, the associative property says that when adding terms, the grouping will not impact the solution, the answer. Now, this is something that you all do whether you know it or not. So it just basically means that you can regroup things with parentheses and it won't change. So here's an example. Like if I had 2 plus 3 plus 4, and I said put parentheses around the 2 plus 3 because I want you to do that first. Well, what is 2 plus 3? 5. And then 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay? But then I said, no. I would rather you put the parentheses around the 3 and the 4 because I want you to do that part first. Because remember, parentheses, you do that part first. So what's 3 plus 4? 7. And what's 2 plus 7? Look, it didn't change the answer. Okay? So the parentheses just tell you, hey, I want you to do this first, but it does not affect what the answer is going to be when you add or multiply. Now it does for dividing and subtracting, but this is for addition and multiplication. So another one for this would be like if I had 2 times 3 times 4, and I said, okay, I want you to do 2 times 3 first. What's 2 times 3? 6. And then what's 6 times 4? 24. But then I'm like, nah, I'd rather you group together the 3 and the 4. So I want you to do 3 times 4 first, which is 12. And then 12 times 2 is 24. It doesn't change it. So you can regroup with parentheses, and it does not affect the answer when you add or multiply. All right, the commutative, not community, commutative property says that you can add or multiply in any order without parentheses, and your answer is still the same. So when adding terms, the order in which they are added can change, and it doesn't change the answer. And guys, these properties are properties that you do all the time. You just didn't put a name with them yet. So like when you are multiplying stuff, so like if I wrote this up here, if I said 3 times 5 times 2, which numbers would you rather multiply together first? The 5 and the 3. No, which ones do you not the ones that it's telling you to do? Which ones would you want to do? 5 and 2. 5 and 2, because 5 times 2 is 10, and then 10 times 3 is 30. You all already use the associative property to do that. This is just putting a name with it. Okay? The commutative property just basically says that if you have like 18 plus 5 plus 2, which ones would you rather add together first? 5 and 2. The 18 and the 2 would make it a lot easier. Because what's 18 plus 2? 20. And then 20 plus 5 is 25. Isn't that a lot easier than trying to figure out what 18 plus 5 is and then plus 2? Yeah. So this just allows you to do 18 plus 2 plus 5 if you want to. The commutative property of multiplication. 3 times 7. Do you know what 3 times 7 is? 21. And what's 7 times 3? 21. It doesn't matter the order that you multiply in, the answer is still the same. So here's the main difference between the associative and commutative. Associative uses parentheses to regroup. Commutative doesn't. That's the only difference. So if you want to put a little note up here and put parentheses, that would be something that could help you. But the associative uses parentheses to group numbers together and commutative doesn't. All right, and then the other two properties are the ones that we've been working on. The distributing property and the combining like terms property. Okay, so the distributive property says that it expands an expression through distributing. And what operation is distributing? What operation do we use when we distribute? Multiply. I hope we're writing all this down, filling out our notes. Okay, so like if you had 2 times 3x minus 5. We distribute 2 times 3x is what? 6x, and 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So that's what the distributive property does. It multiplies that number on the outside to each term on the inside. All right, and then the last main one that's important is the combining like terms. So when we combine like terms, we add and subtract things that have the exact same variable and exponent. So simplifying expressions is adding and subtracting like terms. So like 3x plus 5x is what? What's 3x plus 5x? 8x. What's 3y minus 7y? Negative 4y. Negative 4y. And this one I don't really use that often, but since it's on here, we'll fill it out. 2 expressions that are equal but written differently is equivalent expressions. So the word equivalent means equal. So equal expressions could be something like 2x plus 5 is equal to 5 plus 2x. Aren't those the same thing? Yeah. They're both positive 5s, they're both positive 2x's, they're just written differently, but they're still the same. They're just written in a different order. They're both still equal. All right, so what we're going to do next is they're going to give us some problems, and they're going to want us to work them out. They're going to want us to simplify them using our distributive property and our combining like terms. All right, and then they're going to want us to tell us what property we used. Okay, and we can abbreviate them if you want. Now, here's the only thing I'm gonna say. Do not abbreviate associative to be ASS. It's a seventh grade, they don't get that.
I get it.
In high school, they about got. So associative, we're gonna abbreviate it to be like ASSO. All right, so we're not just gonna put a cuss word on our paper. Okay. All right. I know, right? Yes, no. I know, we're just gonna call them both associative. So we're only technically gonna have like 3 properties here, okay? Well, I guess 4. We're gonna have the associative property that says we use parentheses to group together things. We have the commutative property that says that you can just add or multiply in any order, you don't use parentheses. We have the distributive property that says you distribute, and then we have combining like terms, okay? All right, so this one, it says simplify each expression below, justify each step by using a mathematical property or phrase listed above. Mark the appropriate letter. I'm just going to label them, okay? All right, so if I wanted to simplify this, if this was not here and this was just the problem that they told us to do, sit up and pay attention. If this was just the problem that they told us to do, what would you do first? The parentheses, you would distribute first. Because when we simplify expressions, we always do the parentheses first because that's what comes in order of operations. So I distribute this -3. So -3 times 4x is what? Negative 12x. -3 times 3. -9. And then I have that plus 5x. So I use the distributive property. So I'm just going to put DISC for distributive property.
When you put the 2 x's together, you do the asterisks?
In just a minute, yeah. Are there any questions about how I know that's a distributive property? All right, after I distribute, like Ethan was saying, then I'm always going to look for like terms. Do I have any like terms? Yes. What? The x's, the -12x plus 5x. So what is -12 plus 5? -7x. And that was called combining like terms. So I'm just going to put C, combining like terms, CLT, combining like terms. And is there anything else I can do to make this more simple? Are there any other like terms?
No.
Then you're done. Okay, so it's what we've been doing, we're just labeling. All right, the next one. What should you do first on the next one? Raymond? The distributive property. Now, when you look at this one, there's nothing in front of this parentheses, so it's like there's a 1 there. But when you multiply numbers by 1, what does it do to it? Keeps it the same. So I'm not going to have to distribute anything there because there's nothing to distribute out front. You don't have to distribute that 1 because it doesn't change anything. All right, then I'm going to distribute this 2. What kind of 2 is this? Positive. So positive 2 times 1x is 2x. Positive 2 times what? -6. What's 2 times -6? -12. So this was also the distributive property. Okay, what do I do next? Add together the like terms. Do I have any like terms? What? Okay, the 3x and the 2x. Anything else? The -4 and the -12. Let's always make sure that we say the sign in front if it's negative, especially. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put together the x's first. So what is 3x plus 2x? 5x. Okay? And then what about this -4 plus -12? -16. And then what else?
6y plus.
Plus 6y because it doesn't have any other like terms. And so that was combining like terms. All right, are there any questions about that part before we keep moving on?
No.
All right. Give me a minute.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
All right, what we gotta say? All right, are we good? Okay, let's sit up, let's pay attention. We're gonna skip this one.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep chugging along down here, okay? All right, well, it's just because it's pretty redundant on what we just did. Okay, so the next part, number 1, it says write equivalent expression. So that just means an equal expression by simplifying. So let's read number 1 here. It says the sum of 6n plus 3 and 4n minus 9. What in the heck does the word sum mean? Add. So let's put up here that sum means to add. I'll put that up there so we know for our, maybe it might be on our quiz tomorrow. I said that at the beginning. Where has everybody been?
She said that one.
I did, and I even said it's up there. Nobody listened. All right, so it says the sum. So I'm going to take that negative 6n plus 3, and I'm going to add it to that 4n minus 9. So I'm going to find the sum of these. So I want you now to combine your like terms to simplify it. There's no parentheses, Andy, to distribute, so that's why you're just going to combine the like terms. You got to take your pencil and touch it to your paper to do the problem. All right, well, some of us have still not touched our pencil to our paper yet. Are you going to try it? Do this problem, huh? Already did it? No, I didn't think so. We're planning on having a test next Friday before we go on fall break. And so you're gonna have like the quiz tomorrow, the quiz Friday, and the test next Friday, and that's all that's on your 9 weeks grade. So then we're pretty much done for this 9 weeks. No, next Friday's your test, so we got stuff all due on. Alright, so let's all talk about some like terms here. Does anybody see any like terms? Jackson. Positive 4n. Okay, are there any other sets of like terms, Seamus?
3 and negative 9.
3 and negative 9. Okay, so good job, you all saying the signs. All right, here we go. Negative 6n plus 4n. What's negative 6 plus 4? Negative 2n. Okay. And then let's look at the numbers that are like terms. Positive 3, so 3 minus 9. Negative 6. And guys, if you are still struggling with integers, get the calculators. Use the calculators to do 3 minus 9 so that you can get them right. Okay, you will be able to use a calculator tomorrow on your quiz, so make sure to bring it if you have one, because I only have like 5. Okay? All right, let's look at number 2. 9 plus r minus r plus 10. Okay, so this one looks to be a little bit tricky because the parentheses, right? So that means that they want us to distribute. Now, what's out front of this parenthesis?
1.
A positive 1. Do you need to distribute by a positive 1? Does multiplying things by 1 change them? No. So this one, if I just think about it, that's still just 9 plus r. Okay, because multiplying things by 1, Andy, does not change them. Pay attention. Okay, now, here's the next thing. What is in front of this parenthesis?
Negative 1.
A negative 1. And a negative 1 does change things. So I am going to have to distribute by negative 1. So this is like a 1r. So negative 1 times 1r. What's negative 1 times 1? So negative 1R. And negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. This is also like a 1. So this is 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1R is 1R. So that didn't change. You don't really have to distribute by 1 because it doesn't change anything. But this one was a negative 1. So you do need to distribute that negative 1. All right, after that, I always look for my like terms. Do I have any like terms? Jonathan? Okay, positive 9 and negative 10. Good. Are there any other like terms? All right. Machete. 1R and negative 1R. Good job. Okay, so here we go. Start with the numbers. 9 minus 10 is negative 1. Okay, what about 1R, positive 1R, so 1R minus 1R. What's 1 minus 1? 0, so I don't even need to put 0 there, they just cancel each other out, so this is just negative 1. Because 1 rabbit minus 1 rabbit is nothing, so I don't even have any rabbits. Okay, you want to put names with them. All right, you all try number 3. Let's do number 3, so let's distribute. Come on, I'm trying to get it on.
Okay, so show me what you did when you distributed. Yeah. So when you distributed, what did you do? You did negative 2 times 5, so it's right that below it. Okay, but we'll know what is 2, negative 2 times 5 means. So it's negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1.
Yeah, look at the negative times the positive. So that should be negative. Okay, now what?
And then we're put together all terms.
Okay, so then
Make sure you always show that step.
2 times. What's the negative times negative? Yeah, but you don't have this minus thing, it's just, when you see they're gonna do a minus sign or a plus sign.
Okay. So right here is real good.
Now what? No, because look, there's no, you're only multiplying when it's these. So these must have been straight into. Okay, what matches?
Distribute first. Yeah.
But hold on, these are, now we're switching rules. So you don't have any multiplication here. So now we're doing same times adding. different songs. Yeah. Do these match? They match if they have the same letter, so what is this?
Alright, guys, so I see parentheses, so that's where I start. I always start there, because order of operations, I do the parentheses first to distribute. So -2 times positive 5b.
Negative 10b.
Is negative 10b. -2 times what? -1, and a negative times a negative is a positive 2, and then I still have that plus 7b plus 4. After I distribute, I'm always looking for like terms. So can somebody raise their hand and tell me some like terms? Jonathan? Very good. Good job saying the signs, right, Sophia?
+2 and +4.
Yes, good job. Okay, so -10b plus 7b. -3b. And this is +2 plus 4. What's 2 plus 4? 6. And are those like terms? No, because one has a b, one does not. So that is my expression simplified. Okay. So these are like what a lot of your questions are going to be like tomorrow on the quiz. All right, we're going to do 2 more down here. All right, so it says, Jonah calculates that the perimeter of this rectangle is 6 1/2 x minus 3. Explain his error and include the correct expression. Now, perimeter is what it's talking about. How do you find perimeter of any figure? Add what? All the sides. So we're going to add up all the sides. Now, every year I have people that are like, describe and correct problems. This is I don't even know where to start. I can't find their mistake just by looking at it. Well, it says it's a describe and correct, so why don't you just do it the correct way yourself first, and then compare your work with their work to be able to find the explanation. So let's pretend like they don't give us any answers other than find the perimeter, okay? So, I know with a rectangle, if this side is 1/2 x plus 2, what do I know?
The other side.
The other same side is 1/4 x plus 2. If this is 6x minus 5, then this is 6x minus 5. So I'm going to add up all 4 of those sides. So I'm going to do 6x minus 5 plus 1/4 x plus 2 plus 6x minus 5 plus 1/4 x plus 2. So basically I'm just taking all 4 of those sides and I'm adding them together. Okay, you just add up all the sides. Now, when I add up all the sides of an expression like this, I'm going to have to put together all those same variables, the like terms. Okay, so who wants to tell me some like terms, Sachi? Okay. Okay. Yeah, good job. All right, do I have any other sets of like terms that I can put together? Ethan's got his hand on them. All right, tell me.
+2, -5, +2,
Okay. All right, so we're going to start putting these together. We're going to put together all the x's because they're like terms. Once again, you can use your calculator, but here's my thing, okay? I don't have a calculator up here, so I'm going to go ahead and do these 2 first. So 6x plus 6x is 12x. Now let's think of this in pizza, okay? Here's some pizza, and I've got 1/4 plus 1/4. So I'm going to put my pizza into fourths. So 1/4 plus 1/4 is what? Which is, how much pizza is that? Half. So 1/4 plus 1/4 is 1/2, because it's 2/4, which reduces to 1 or 1/2. So 6 plus 6 is 12. 1/4 plus 1/4 is 1/2, so that's 6 1/2 x, or 12 1/2, because I can't count. 6 plus 6 is 12, what I just said. Okay. And then I'm going to put together my numbers. So let's do these out loud together. This is -5 plus 2. -3. Also, I said -5 plus 2. It's -3, and then -3 plus -5. -8. And then -8 plus 2, -6. And once again, you are able to use your calculator, so bring it. All right, so they got 6 1/4 x minus 3. So does anybody have any idea on maybe what they did wrong, Jackson?
They didn't have the other side,
Yeah,
the other two sides.
you're exactly right. They only added these two sides together. They did 6 plus 1/4, they got 6 1/4. They did -5 plus 2 and got -3. They did not add all 4 sides. Just the 2. The 2 that were given. Yeah. Good job, Shane. All right, I think we're gonna skip that last one because I want to do one more thing. In the very bottom of your paper, that blank space, I'm gonna write 2 problems up on the board, and I want you to do those 2. Okay, I want you to be quiet. I don't want you to say the answers out loud. Okay, so there's one of them that I want you to do. And that one. So do both of those and that some blank space on your paper, and then we're gonna go over them. I'll give you about 4 or 5 minutes.
I still haven't sent you that.
I was in that.
Mhm.